how to stage properly your house when you are selling your house.
But first, let's hit it. Hey, it's Ellen Victoria. Welcome to our Talent Podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Honestly, call checks all the time at 252-327-3357. Sometimes we do get people who say, I don't want to do all of this stuff that we're going to talk about, which is decluttering, cleaning, staging, because it can be overwhelming, but it's also overwhelming that you're moving at all, right? And most of the time, you have to do most of what we're going to say to get out of the house anyway. You're gonna have to pack it all up. So we're just gonna talk about ways to use what you have in order to get top dollar for your house. You wanna add anything?
And the reason that we're doing, really, you're trying to show the buyer that the house is really functioning for the purpose of that person or family or whoever wanted to live in that house.
And you might think buyers should just understand this is the dining room. Of course, you put a dining room table here. But the thing is, we need to say right now that buyers do not think creatively when walking into an empty vessel.
Exactly.
They're not going to necessarily visualize their own things like we want them to. If they are visualizing their own things, that's a great sign for a sale of a home. But the seller can showcase the functionality of a room, make the house look amazing, and then let the buyers dream about living in the home. And that is what we're talking about in this really video.
Therefore, you shouldn't expect that they can imagine properly without all of these things in the house, imagine themselves and their loved one in your house.
What's the first thing to do?
First, as my wife started this podcast and video, was decluttering, no?
Wait, this sounds so easy, but it's not. Let's be honest. Half empty of everything is better when we're selling the house. That way they can imagine the other half is their stuff while they see what you're using as well. Again, sounds easy, but it's not. So let's just go through the list of things that you should be able to be thinking about at this moment.
Yeah, one of the things is like an art in the wall or any family picture that you have all over the walls in your house.
Another one is bookcases. Bookcases should be half full or empty with only a few little decorative items. Back to art. If it's a one piece, that's great. If it's art all around the wall like you live in a gallery, this is not good at all.
And next number is like really half of the closet to be empty. Therefore, basically box up like a seasonal way and eliminate the things that don't need to be there, no?
Basically, if you have not touched anything in 6 months, just pack it. Pack it.
Countertop, desk, whether it's table, all should be clean, clear, they can see themselves in your house.
No papers, no coffee pots, nothing. Remove 1/3 of all the furniture that you tend to have. We tend to be overcrowded in our homes. When we're selling the homes, it's a visualization of what it could be, but it has to be their stuff. So you want to take out at least 1/3 of your furniture.
And the heart of the home, the kitchen also need to be decluttered. They can see if you have a granite countertop, they can see themselves, they can see the appliances.
We're going to talk about all of the details of all the rooms coming up, but I basically look at your house like a vacation rental. Go to the bare minimum of everything. When you go to a vacation home, they have one pot, one pan, a couple plates, a couple dishes, but just keep it simple and small.
Now, the next item is, the next category is depersonalizing.
Which is what he was trying to talk about earlier. Basically, literal pictures of your loved ones, your family, your friends, your history. Remove anything that shows your faces because they want to imagine their faces, their loved ones, their memories, and seeing yours does not help visualize theirs.
Exactly. The next one that could be heartbreaking is the pet. No, I know many of you that are pet lovers. You might have even pet in your house, but really, when you are a home seller and the buyer comes, is completely different scenario.
Right, you're trying to sell this house, and remember, pet owners, not everybody is a pet owner, or they own the opposite species of what you have. So if you're a dog lover and then a cat person wants to buy the house, but your dogs are all over the place, it can be a problem for the vice versa. So when you're selling your home, it's super important to eliminate all visual and our sense of a pet. Remove it as much as possible. No litter boxes, no bowls. If you can take your pet out, that's even better for showing.
The next...
So before you get there, remember, your dog might be super sweet, might be kind, but somebody else can hear that bark of a dog and have a vivid memory of when a dog attacked them. And it might not be your dog, but this person is not even going to want to see the house. So make sure you've also told your real estate agent if you have a pet.
Exactly. The next category is odors. No, that is the most important things. The second that you walk into the house, some smells just hit your face.
People want to leave.
And people that don't want to even spend time there. Therefore, that's one of the most important things.
And it's the hardest one for agents to talk to you about because it's typically your pet, your dinner. If you're a smoker, that's a little easier to tell you. But if you're a smoker, try to go outside. Basically, we need to remove the smell, open windows for at least 15 minutes every single day to let the fresh air in. Even if it's cold outside, you want that fresh air, fresh smell in as much as possible, and get rid of all the smell as much as possible.
Next category is basically removing this distinct art decor collection of anything that you have in the house.
Right, you might have fun doing this collection of whatever, but that doesn't mean that person who's coming to see your house is into whatever you're into, which means just put it away so they can imagine whatever it is they want to do.
The next item, the category is really anything that is related to religion, politics,
ideology. You might be 100% right and great about your beliefs. This is amazing. However, the buyer might walk in and have completely different viewpoints, different beliefs. So it's just best to put every sign away during the selling process. Just stay away from all of those information.
One of the important things also, the next category, neutralize color. No?
Do you know that there's a joking color that you can buy called realtor beige? That's basically because we want warm, neutral shades. So if you go to the store and say, I just want realtor beige, they know what that is because they know what we're trying to do here.
And then the next item is super important. Clean, clean, clean.
He says it like he doesn't mean it, right? Oh, right. So basically, even if you're a super clean person all the time, you're not doing everything that you possibly can do. So when you're looking to sell your house, we're going to dust the ceiling fans, get the gunk under the seat, the grime that kind of builds up on our windshields. We're going to polish everything that we have. It's time to make your house feel like you've just detailed your car, right? So you detail your car and you make it smell and look new, and that is what we need to do to your house.
Exactly. The next one is staging and the best dress, no?
Right. Basically, studies show a good staged home is going to sell faster and at higher prices.
Exactly.
A good interior designer might be worth way more, but they often find a way to make even the ugliest thing in your house that you don't know what to do with, they understand how to make it look nice. So even in the hottest of hot markets where all houses are selling super fast, a good stage home is going to sell even faster for even more money.
Now, overall, now we're talking about really staging is involved, maybe repainting your house.
It can be removing furniture.
Or replacing existing furniture, at least with the chosen pieces.
Creating themes for a room. Maybe you don't have children, but you want to make a children's room at least appear a little bit so people can imagine that as a room for their child.
Exactly. Lightening and decorating the spaces to basically draw the attention.
Away from whatever it is.
From the flaw.
Right. Also, we're looking for specific finishing touches that might make the house pop.
Now, the next that we want to talk after all this is really timing.
And we're going to talk about room by room in a minute. Basically, when do you stage your house? Basically, whenever you're going to invite people into the house. In some areas, you have earlier open houses before it even starts. Then you're putting it even earlier. On the other side, if you're like us, where most of the time we're taking photos, then it has to be done by photo time.
Now, another question is, are you really still living in the house that you're selling? No?
56% of all home sellers have to live in the house until they've bought the other house. So they're still going to be in the house while selling the first house.
Which means really you're going to be living in that house, and really sometimes it could be challenging to do all these estates.
Right, and if you've hired a professional person to make your house look perfect, and then they folded a blanket in a certain way, and then they leave, and then you've touched that blanket that is not folded in the same way, and you don't have the ability to fold that away, it can cause disaster, and that interior designer can cost money. So we have to make sure that we are paying attention to what's going on, and make sure that we are kind of utilizing rooms and staying to where we can fix everything. So when we have to leave on the go super fast, you can just fix it again and go.
Now, saying that, if it's a vacant home, is a different scenario, no?
Empty houses also do not sell for as much money as homes with furniture and homes that look like they have people in them. So this is just based on data. So it is easier in an empty house to see the flaw that we were talking about, that maybe an interior designer can say, hey, and make it look nice. Here, it's going to be so obvious. It's going to be like, what just happened to this counter? Why is it green growing? Emptiness is going to also convey that they're eager to get their money.
Now, the question is, do you need to hire a professional to does everything for you, or you think it's costly and doesn't really is not good basically option for you?
85% of people are going to do it themselves, but 15% are going to hire professionals. Now, professionals are not cheap at all.
Exactly.
Some will just hire for a consultation. Some people are just going to go on Fiverr and pay someone to tell them what to do with the picture and then be done with it. So there are cheaper ways to get professional help without actually paying professional prices. But basically, experts say that you shouldn't be paying for a interior designer more than 1 to 1.5% of the home's value. So that also tells you that if it's a higher priced home, you're probably going to have a professional.
Exactly. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about more DIY projects.
Right, because that's most people.
And now, the first thing we want to talk about, outside drive and the yard, no?
Right. So pack everything that's going with you. All your fun toys, like your boat, or your equipment, like your motor. But you do need to sweep, clean everything that's just been moved. It has to be clean. All the clutter outside needs to just go away.
Basically, sparse up the yard and then trim and get rid of the weeds if you can in your backyard, and replace the plant that really they are dead and need to be replaced.
Speaking of dead things, if you have lighting out there that you've enjoyed, here's the problem with outside lighting is it typically dies fast. So we need to replace all of the ones that have died.
And you can put a new welcome mat, for example, to put it the best impression on the buyers.
Here in Greenville, we are very much a rocking chair on the front porch, like commandment place situation. Yeah. That is just every community, because we are a wave to our neighbors type place. And so a lot of people have rocking chairs on their front porch. Other people will definitely have to put chairs and a table. Basically, it makes it look more welcome.
Wash up the windows and do some repainting outside of the home.
Right, so you want to also sweep up all the cobwebs that might be in the corner of that porch that you don't ever go to, or on the front desk that you don't go to, or any signs of pests. Even if they have died a year ago, we need to get rid of it.
And also clear the gutters or down spots there.
Right. Ensure the house is well lit, because people will drive by your house even at night. So it has to look inviting, that they might want to call the real estate agent the next day and see a showing, but they're driving by your house first.
And get rid of all the old clunkers, no?
Right. Anything that makes people go, and then it seems like a disaster. Basically, your backyard needs to feel like an escape to nature. So that is something else. Now let's go room by room. Now, before we go room by room, do you want to say anything?
No, if you want to add anything.
Oh, so basically, you need to make the finishing touches help the place look grand. If you have a dining room table, it's great to have it set for dinner, like you're inviting the buyers to sit down for dinner, even if you're not. All rooms should be light and bright. All blinds should be open. All curtains should be open. And LED lights help give us a soft white light. So therefore, those are all good things in all rooms. Now let's talk about the kitchen.
Now let's start with the different part of the house. No, the first is kitchen. Hide all of the appliances in your countertop.
Right. So you want to also pack away most of your dishes, utensils, anything that you don't use. Keep only a couple, the bare necessities, as we talked about.
Clean or redo all the grouts, and also clean your oven.
Right. So be surprised. Wipe and treat all the cupboards and cabinets. You want to clean as much as possible.
Hide your garbage can and clean refrigerator, because they come sometimes and open your refrigerator.
Clean with on the outside of all the cabinets. The hardest part of packing is obviously the kitchen. We're going to say that, and we're going to wipe down all the walls in the kitchen as well.
And remove the kitchen decorating theme, no? That
Right,
is
and
also important.
we will say leaving a bowl full of fruit is inviting in a kitchen because it does leave a little trace of food and people are get hungry, and so seeing some food makes it a little
Appealing.
appealing.
Now, going to the bathroom. First, matching white towels could help.
Right, and then keeping your curtains to white plain as well. Basically, think of your bathroom like a hotel at this point.
And few decorative items, and remove as much as you can the personal hygienes and stuff.
Right, clean the vents and check for mold and mildew in the shower and clean it up.
And store all the toiletries.
Clean all the cabinets again and the counters. And again, prepare your bathroom like a visitor might actually use your bathroom.
And clean your drain.
I know, crazy thing. Now let's go to the family room or the living room or your grand room or both.
Remove the extra rugs that you have, or hide the extra TV.
And hide the only TV that you have. Clear a path to the room to make it as open as it can.
And get rid of all oversized furniture, at least putting in the garage, for example.
Brighten up all dead zones, mostly in corners. It might be fake plants, but you want to keep it simple. And stick to a color theme.
Now we're going to move to the bedrooms.
Really? We're not going to talk about the fireplace and dress up your fireplace?
Exactly. Don't hide the clutter under the bed. This is one of the mistakes that many of the sellers they do.
Right, and try to have new linens. Inexpensive, but new linens. And basically, again, we're making it look like a hotel room. Basic furniture of the room without having extra furniture in there.
And make sure that your room looks like a getaway.
Right. For your children's room, make it gender neutral because you might have a boy or a girl, and then the buyer might have the opposite. Just gender neutral helps.
Exactly. Get rid of all the huge toys for the kids and ensure the teenagers keep their room clean.
Don't use bedrooms as lifestyle rooms like a yoga studio, and unless it's an office as much as possible. Unless you have a million bedrooms.
And keep the bedside clear that they can easily move.
And basically you want to keep all those closets empty or at least half empty because that way they can start imagining their stuff. Quickly with basements, keep it clean and empty because that way they can imagine their storage.
And last minute touch that we wanted to talk, keep all-purpose cleaning sprays in the kitchen bathroom to wipe all the surfaces and the door handles and also the light switches.
Have a microfiber to dust for all debris.
And open the curtain and turn on the light.
And get everything off that counter. Keep it super clean.
And make sure that no clothes lying on the bed or surrounding area.
And you make the bed, right? So you made your bed.
And vacuum, of course, vacuum.
Empty all your garbage and waste cans.
And check for any stains on the windows or the doorknobs.
Make sure that the house smells good when you leave.
And if you can put a gentle music, that's recommended.
Arrange that fruit that we talked about or flowers that help make it smell right.
And also, either in winter or summer, make sure the room temperature when people walk in is the right one.
And if there's a car parked in your driveway, make it look like the nicest car. Do not leave the old clunker that has a lot of problems sitting there in the corner. Make it look like, even if it's your neighbor's cousin's car that's sitting in front of your house, if you know them and it's like a clunker that can kind of be an eyesore, ask them to get it off the street.
Do you want to add anything else?
That's quite a lot of work, right? That's why people like to avoid this issue altogether.
Don't forget to call us because we are here, Alan Victoria, to help you. And also make sure you subscribe in our channel to support our channel.
Absolutely.
Thank you.